Hello and welcome to Crosspoint Dota League. Have a great matchup today between Executors and On Character. My name is Radnor. I'll be casting. I have a co-caster here. Hello, Robnrol. How you doing today?
Dire team bad. Radiant team bad. Dire team bad.
It looks like I'm having a little bit of a connection issue with my co-caster Rob. Hopefully he'll be on here in a second. We've already got bans coming out from both teams. We've got Batrider being banned out as well as the Mighty Magnus for On Character, and Executors is going to be banning out the IO. And Keeper of the Light as well.
Radiant team pick.
We do see Lifestealer being picked up here by On Character for first pick. I think that's a pretty good pickup.
Ten seconds remaining.
Okay, so it looks like we had... Hey, Rob, how you doing today?
Am I here?
Yes, you are. Welcome to the party. It looks like we have Bane being picked up as well as Gyrocopter.
Is anything coming through?
Yes,
Am
sir. Yeah, you're good to go.
Right, cool. Yeah. Sorry about that. Technical issues and cats. So let's go through the draft, I guess.
Definitely. There's also a Nyx Assassin being picked up here. They're going through the draft pretty quick here today.
And now Radnor's gone missing, so I'll carry on through the draft stages. With the Bane and the Gyrocopter and the Nyx Assassin being picked up, the Keeper of the Light being banned out, the Magnus being banned, Shadow Demon being banned. The Shadow Demon's quite an interesting one because he's one of the I think he's one of the most common supports in the game. So seeing him ban out, obviously Executors don't want to see this disruption impale coming out from the Nyx Assassin and the Shadow Demon into the excuse me, open wounds from the Lifestealer. Being banned out, so that's quite, again, an interesting one. It shows On Character know the Executors still have a mid-hero to pick up. They're banning these specifically, unless they want to try and run the Gyrocopter in the mid and pick up another carry. So you could see either a Queen of Pain coming out in the ban stage here. Darkseer being banned out, so obviously Executors want to limit the off-lane capabilities of On Character. One other lane I've seen is the Nature's Prophet running the off-lane. That's quite successful, or the Windrunner. So there's still a few choices for On Character, depending on what lineup they want to go for.
I agree. Am I coming through now?
5 seconds remaining.
You are.
Oh, that's good. Technical difficulties on both ends today. And the Leshrack's going to be banned out here from On Character. I think that's a good ban out. He can melt towers as well as he's a very good support. Definitely good with the push, so no surprise to see him banned out there. And the Lena's going to be picked up by Executors. I think Lena's a good pickup here.
Yeah, especially with the Gyrocopter and his homing missile. That second stun that comes out from the Lena, just to keep them in place, and the Dragon Slave, you know, with the burst damage, quite a good support.
I agree. And Lone Druid's going to be picked up by On Character. Definitely a strong off-lane hero. He has good push potential, good hero killing potential. I mean, he's a pretty good pick overall.
Yeah, and I agree. I think from the latest patch, though, he's moved from what I'd call a hero killer, specifically into a pusher hero, moving from that armlet on the bear into maybe a Radiance, into maybe a Maloney.
And there's the Nature's Prophet to counter the lone druid pick almost. A good offlane hero. He has great push potential, and I totally agree with that pick up there.
Yep, if you can get the Treants off and you get your micro off properly, you can stop this bird from being able to pick up the creep wave and drag it around, or maybe even, you know, stop the lone druid from escaping while you're going for the harass. And it all depends on your micro, but the ganks that could come out as well with that teleport and the ultimate, it's just, Nature's Prophet is a great overall hero.
I agree, and it looks like they're going to be going with an offensive tri-lane for on character with the lone druid off lane, and most likely defensive tri-lane with the Nature's Prophet going solo lane.
Radiant team ban.
And there's the Queen of Pain. She's of course going to be going mid. Queen of Pain is a very good mid lane hero. I definitely like that pickup there.
Especially without the puck to contest her. Anyone they send mid, they're just going to have to deal with the constant harass from the Queen of Pain, whether it be the Shadow Strike, whether it be the actual Scream of Pain, and there's a lot of burst damage that can actually come out from her.
Reserve time.
I agree. One thing I am going to be looking for is that Nature's Prophet to pick off that courier if they're going to be bottle crowing. With the new slow speed, I am totally looking forward to the pick off of the courier at least once during the early phase of the game.
Vengeful Spirit being banned out here, so the aura, maybe, that's what they're scared of, or maybe the initial stun.
Radiant team pick.
Well, she did get the strength gain in the last patch, which makes her just a little bit beefier, and that nether swap is definitely something to cause problems in the late game. And there's the Windrunner. She's being picked up. Good pick there. We've seen some great plays come out of Windrunner. That shackle shot is an amazing skill, and there's good synergy with Sprout as well.
It does make me think that they might run the Nature's Prophet mid and will run the Windrunner in the offlane, or, you know, swap it about, because running Windrunner under that second carry role, she is quite offensive if she can get an early Orchid.
I agree, and she has great survivability with that wind run, which is definitely a great skill in any team fight.
Yeah, and it does force maybe the Queen of Pain to go to for that MKB when she might not usually build it, just to counter that wind run.
I agree, because you want to be able to take her down, and the only way you're going to be able to do that is with that Monkey King bar. So that's going to be an item that's for sure going to be in the mix matchup here, and that's just going to use some resources that she might normally be able to spend on another item. Not that it's not a great item, but Queen of Pain tends to build, you know, different item builds, and having to force someone into an item build definitely needs it changes the way you play a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, depending on how the Queen of Pain wanted to build, instead of picking up this Aghanim Scepter, which makes the team fights even more deadly, she'll have to go into this specialization of the MKB.
I agree. And there's the Rubik pick. Great pickup. He's going to have a lot of good spells to steal here. Good lineup to get that spell steal against. This is going to be a fun matchup between on-character and Executors.
It's going to be great, especially if the Rubik, any one of the ultimates, maybe apart from the Windrunner ultimate, but you pick up the Nightmare, the Call Down, you know, the Light Strike Array, or even the Wrath of Nature. It's a lot of damage coming out that he can steal up there.
I totally agree. As for laning, we're going to have Baffic the Beast on Bane. On Gyrocopter, we're going to have Mortal. On Nature's Prophet, we're going to have Claw Me Please. On the Lina, we're going to have Van Dushin. And going mid is going to be Thu on the Windrunner.
Yep, and on the dire side, on the Queen of Pain, we have Lost Style. On the Lone Druid, we have Cena 4K. On the Life Stealer, we have Botanic. On the Rubik, we have the Light Bearer. And on the next assassin, we have what I'm going to call Vertishikisheka.
Let's call him Vister for short, just because I can actually get that off.
30 seconds.
Sounds good.
I think we're going to have a good matchup here. We've got some very different play styles here. I mean, you do have that Queen of Pain going mid. She is going to be going against what looks like the Windrunner. Nature's Prophet looks like he's already headed into the jungle. Just going to leave that tri-lane up top all to himself. And down on the bottom, we're going to have the tri-lane of the Lina, the Bane, and the Gyrocopter. Good defensive tri-lane for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting to see that both the Nature's Prophet and the Lone Druid at the moment look like they're abandoning that off lane.
I agree. It's sort of funny to see that they're both instantly going towards the jungle, both of them knowing that they have better potential staying in the jungle than going up against a tri-lane, for sure.
I think when this happens, when both carries are left to just farm, I think the Lifestealer could actually come out on top.
I agree. Lifestealer has very good potential late game. Out of the two teams, I mean, Rubik is a game changer. He, with that spell steal at level 6, he has great potential for pretty much any point of the game because he doesn't have a set skill limit that he can have. As for the two teams, I mean, Gyrocopter, of course, is a great carry, but he's really more of a beast in the mid-game. I would have to say that on character has a great late-game potential. Of course, just being that they have the Lone Druid. He is a monster the further the game goes, and he is just a powerhouse. Mixed with a Nyx Assassin, a Lifestealer, and a Rubik, I mean, you're talking about a great team here.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to see how the Lina was in the mid lane and the Nyx was in the mid lane, just because they knew both off laners had abandoned the jungle.
I agree. One thing to note is we have very aggressive wards coming out from the Dire side. They are not only on top of the rune, but they're watching to make sure no ganks are coming through, as well as they've already got
Did that hurt?
the warning here for any invisible characters coming up this way.
That invisibility rune as well was just denied by the Rubik. Quite clever to stop the Windrunner from getting to it.
Well, not only did it bring her out of lane, and she lost that extra time to get CS, but she didn't even get the rune. So, I mean, talk about a great deny there.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And this Bane's just going to be rotating. It looks like he's just dewarding at the moment, but that's quite clever.
Even have arms to defend
I agree. And good deward there. Some minor harassment is going to come out on the Bane from the Lone Druid, but nothing real to push him. The bear's not big enough to get that entangle yet, and there's really no follow-through, especially since Lone Druid does have that Nightmare.
I'm quite worried about how low this Windrunner's actually got. She's just popped a Tango, but she was down to about 200 health from the Queen of Pain, and she's not... Well, she's keeping even on the CS, but how long do you think that can go on, especially with this Shadow Strike coming out?
Well, that's going to cause some major harassment in the middle lane. It's something to be worried of. We could be seeing definitely, if not a first blood in the mid lane, at least some kills coming out, which is not something you want to be giving in the mid lane. We do have some nice creep pulls going on from the supports down here in the jungle. On both sides, actually. If you look, they're doing a good job up here in the Dire jungle as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it just pulls the extra experience for the supports. They don't have to be on the lane, soaking up all the Lifestealer's experience.
Well, and if we look at our carries, we see that Lifestealer's already at 27 and 8, and Gyrocopter's at 21 and 3. So he's a little bit behind right now. That advantage is going to decrease as he gets more levels in that flat cannon. He's already got 3 levels in the flat cannon and 2 levels in the rocket barrage, which is just going to help him continue to get that CS he needs.
I think that needs to start the supports, and we're going to see it on the bottom here. The supports are going to smoke up and look for a gank.
I agree. We do have a Basilius pickup on the gyrocopter already, so he's doing rather good down there on the bottom lane. One thing is, Queen of Pain is skirting rather close to her tower, so it's going to be hard to get that pickup. And it looks like they're actually just going to keep going top.
That's quite interesting, unless they're looking for the lone druid in the jungle or coming around the extreme long way.
They definitely are, and he's happening to be headed over to the other side of the jungle. That courier is even safe. I mean, when it comes down to it, it looks like they're not going to be finding anybody on that smoke up.
No, and that does seem like a bit of a waste, but the Queen of Pain is fairly far out now. She's only got the 1 point in teleport. In blink even.
Yeah, and it still looks like they're not going to be able to make anything of it. We do have a nice push coming down here on bottom from Lone Druid and the Nyx Assassin. Wonder if Gyrocopter is going to find himself in a bad place here.
I don't like this. The Dire realised the supports have gone missing on bottom, so they just rotate 2 heroes to phase out the Gyrocopter on his lane.
Well, and it was quite effective. If you look, he is losing out on that CS over here. And there's the call down coming out on the Nyx Assassin. The teleport's going to come in. We're going to see some okay damage coming out, but he's going to be nightmared up by the Bane. And there comes the Light Strike Array, and the Dragon Slave comes out, and Bane actually gets the last hit on the Nyx Assassin there. Good overall little team fight there going on.
Yeah, the only problem is that pulled 4 heroes off the farming, so that's it's a good kill, first blood, definitely worth it. But if they're going to be doing that in future, they need to be able to do it with 2, maybe even 3 heroes.
And we're going to have a quick disconnect coming out from Nyx Assassin. I do agree with that. I mean, to put 4 heroes into killing a Nyx Assassin, it's a little... I mean, Bane on top of Gyrocopter probably would have been enough, but to bring in the Lina as well was just a little bit much. Add into that the teleport of the Nature's Prophet. I mean, they really wanted him dead.
I just think they wanted the early first blood. They wanted the first blood. They wanted to be able to get any advantage over the lifestealer for the Gyrocopter.
I agree, and I mean, there was an urn pickup there. I did see an urn charge was placed on the Gyrocopter.
Top tower is under attack.
Yep, the Nature's Prophet looks like he's gone straight for that urn instead of going for a Hand of Midas.
Well, and that's going to give him good gank potential with that global teleport. He's really just going to be able to be anywhere on the map at any time.
He is, and even just the extra 100 damage that comes out from the urn. If a hero's running away, maybe on 60 health, he pops that and he gets an instant kill.
I agree, and that could be, I mean, that could be the change of a matchup there. And we are going to have the fortification come out. Teleport's going to come on bottom of Nature's Prophet, but that Lifestealer's just quick with those phase boots already.
And it is interesting to note that both the Nature's Prophet and the Bane rotated up there, while the Lone Druid is just on the bottom farming those Ancients.
Yeah, and that's gonna grow him bigger quicker. He's already got a set of boots for him and the bear and the Ring of Regen, so he's not doing too bad in his farm right now. He is level 5, and we're gonna see the Light Strike Array coming out on the bear, but really no follow-up to it. I mean, they are gonna get the tier 1 tower though on the bottom lane, so good exchange there.
And this is good. It's good to get an early tower, but then it means if they want to pull the lane back, then the Gyrocopter's just going to have to go that little bit further up to farm. And if he does cross the river and the stirs on the river, it does increase the likelihood of him getting ganked.
That is true, and we're going to have a problem coming out here. Good amount of damage coming out to the Queen of Pain. There's going to be the Sonic Wave, and Queen of Pain's going to drop to the Bane. The cooldown's coming out on the Lone Druid, and there's the beautiful Sprout coming out from Nature's Prophet, taking down the Lone Druid in his own jungle. Beautiful rotation there by both teams.
Yeah, and the Dire were a bit unlucky then on character to not be able to take the team fight. I think the Queen of Pain ultimate only hit a couple of heroes instead of all of them, but that was a 3-0 trade. That puts Executors right on top.
Well, and it does. They weren't even able to take the Bane down, and it was beautiful, beautiful rotation coming in from the teleport from Nature's Prophet. That Sprout caught up Lone Druid perfectly, and he was stuck inside of the Sprout for long enough to be taken down.
Yeah, and if you look on the Nature's Prophet now, you can see he's building into that mech.
Well, and that'll give good support. He'll be able to be anywhere on the map quickly, and we have the armlet of Mordegon coming out on Lifestealer. He's doing very well in his farm.
Yeah, that's big. 9 minutes in, that's pretty big. You can see how aggressive the Dire are warding the Radiant Ancients over here. And they're just, they're stopping that. If the Nature's Prophet wanted to go in and farm those up, then they'd know and they'd be able to get off and get a quick gank in.
I agree. And another thing to look at is if we look at the XP chart, it was going in the way heavily of the Dire, but just the farming that Lifestealer is getting up there, it's already gone back to the way of the Dire. Not much, but it is swinging that way for XP, and gold is about 250 gold advantage for the Radiant. It was swinging heavily, almost to 1,000 for the Dire, but I mean, it just shows you how good the farming of that Lifestealer up top is. He's getting bigger, he's getting fatter, he's growing those items that he needs, and if they're not careful, he's going to become a nightmare here very quickly.
He is. I mean, the one thing that the Radiant can do is they have this Bane, so they have the Enfeeble pickup, which can reduce his damage by loads. It's on the 4th level, it's 120 damage reduction, so that could take him out of the fight, but it only takes him out of the fight for 20 seconds. No, that is quite a big duration.
Yeah, that 20 seconds in a team fight, that's like a day and a half. I mean, but the problem is he's only got 1 point in it so far, so he's only reducing the damage by 30 right now, which just isn't really enough. The Lifestealer is just getting bigger and bigger, and without a true counter to that, we're going to see a problem there. He's most likely going to be putting some more levels in that later, but as of right now, he's got 3 points in the Brain Sap, 1 point in the Nightmare, and only 1 point in the Enfeeble. He's not even level 6 yet. He's on his way there, and once he gets that Fiend's Grip, he's going to be better off, but he is just, a little bit behind right now.
And the Burr's going to go down on the top lane. The cooldown was used, I think, and the Laguna Blade was used as well.
Really? They used the Laguna Blade up on the top lane to take down just the bear?
Just the Burr. I mean, he was in his ultimate form, which gives him a few more hit points, but both the cooldown to get that slow and the Laguna Blade to use the burst damage.
Well, I mean, that's a good use of it, and we're at 5-0 now, and we are going to finally get a pick-off of the Windrunner here by the Ancient stack. That ward came in very handy. She went up to the high ground thinking that she would be safe, and instead found herself dead.
Yeah, and you can just see this was a big thing that Executors use, and I'm surprised there's only a couple of wards up for them. That in their first match against Ben's party, they were very aggressive with the ward, and it seemed to work out for them.
I agree. They did very well with the warding there, and there comes the call down already in the mid lane. They're pushing the tower, but Gyrocopter and Lena are going to be there to stop them. I mean, if we look at levels, we see a level 10 on that Lifestealer, level 9 on Gyrocopter and Queen of Pain. We've still got Bane and Rubik sitting at level 5, so neither of them quite have their ultimates yet. That Rubik is just a hair off from being to his ultimate.
And if you take a look at the kills, death, assists, you can see that the Gyrocopter's sitting on 5 assists, which for your carry, that's not where you want him. You want him to be picking up the kills.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, if you look at who's on top of the kills and deaths, you see the Bane up top. That's not exactly how you want your kills and deaths to be looking either. Generally, you let someone else get the last hit, but Bane's being a baller here today.
Well, I'm excited to see some carry Bane.
That would definitely be new to the meta, but hey, we know that there's going to be some new meta happening here. We do see a smoke coming into the jungle. They're going to be looking for, it looks like the Nature's Prophet, but they turn the other way, and they're going to be going in on the gyrocopter. There's a spell steal coming out, giving the flat cannon, but we're going to see Rubik is going to drop incredibly quick. Beautiful sprouts coming out. The Fiend's Grip was up on Lone Druid, and Lone Druid's going to drop here.
And this Windrun is just going to chase down. Does he have enough for a Windrun? No, the cooldown's on for 6 seconds, so that's Nick's assassin is just going to get away.
Yeah, he beautifully used that Spike Carapace there, which saved his life, and now he's Vendetted up, so he'll be able to make it back to base without a problem.
Do something about that middle tower.
Although it does seem like, excuse me, that the mid tower is just going to be pushed down now. This lifesteal and the Queen of Pain.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, and we do have teleports coming in of the Lone Druid, so that's going to just help as well. We are going to see the whole Radiant team rotating mid to be able to counter that. So it looks like they might not be able to get it. First hit in Tango comes out on Nature's Prophet there, but there's no follow-up to it.
No, and I think at this point where there was only 2 or 3 heroes in the mid, for the Dire it was good to get out. On character did the sensible thing, you know, they didn't try and trade, they didn't let the Executors get further ahead, they just said we can't do this, so we're just going to back out.
I agree. And the Gyrocopter has actually sold his Ring of Basilius. He has Drum up and running, and he is building towards that BKB. Spellsteal is going to come out from Rubik, and we're going to see Rubik picking up the flat cannon again. Call down comes out. Beautiful Laguna Blade dropping out the Queen of Pain. We're going to see a good amount of damage coming out to Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet is going to die here. I mean, we lost the Nature's Prophet as well as the Lena, but they were able to take out the Queen of Pain and the Nyx Assassin there.
Yeah, and that's big. Taking down the Queen of Pain, especially seeing as it's Nature's Prophet, seems to be playing that support role.
A big thing to note is the Lifestealer got out of there after he toggled his armlet off with 1 health, literally. He was in a very bad position. They just didn't have the ability to follow him. And, I mean, he was able to walk away from this fight.
And that is massive, keeping the Lifestealer alive. Just making sure that he's not picking up that death, he's not losing the farm.
And there's going to be the call down coming out again. Queen of Pain is going to be able to get away, but Rubik is going to die again. Rubik is just finding himself caught out. The Sprouts came out, and we're going to see the tier 1 drop in mid lane. And there's the Fiend's Grip up on Lifestealer. He's going to be in a very bad position. There comes the Impale out on the Gyrocopter. The Light Strike Array is going to come out, and a Laguna Blade is going to drop Lifestealer in his path.
Just to note as well, that shackle that came on the Queen of Pain with the Lifestealer, there was no follow-up, but that was just a beautiful shackle.
It really was. I mean, Lifestealer himself was going down, but it was a beautiful shackle shot to guarantee that he did not get away and that he was going to go down there. I mean, great synergy between the teams here, but if we look, we're going to see a Nightmare coming out as well as a call down out on Lone Druid up top, and he's going to melt very quickly to the call down. And Nature's Prophet was actually the one to get the last hit there. I mean, good pickoffs here, and it just shows that they're very aware of what's going on the map at all times, even though there was no wards up in the area. I mean,
yeah, and the thing that makes the Gyrocopter deadly, maybe the cooldown doesn't have the most damage, but it does have that 50-second cooldown, which the late game, that's maybe twice in a team fight.
Yeah, and one thing to note is that Enfeeble has been used multiple times on the Lifestealer during these fights from the Bane. Bane is just keeping him from getting any damage out. There's 2 points up in it now, reducing him 60 damage. There was a Brain Sap that was stolen from the Rubik here, so that might help keep him alive in this next team fight.
And like you say, with this enfeeble, that's now half of the lifestealer's damage. That's a massive nerf any time that he comes up into a team fight.
I agree, and it's just going to continue to grow. And, I mean, that's going to cause problems when your carry runs in and is doing less damage than anybody else in the team fight. It's just going to not only frustrate the lifestealer, but it's also going to just cause problems, and his survivability is going to be in question. And we're going to see a smoke coming up on the Dire team. They're looking for a pickoff here, and they might be able to find one. We've got Windrunner and Lena here, and there's the Courier. Courier's in a bad position. The Courier is down.
The gentle herald, we shall never hear anymore.
And the Queen of Pain.
Oh, beautiful kill.
Mega kill.
Not sure what the Rubik was thinking there. Staying in there. Should have just taken the kill and gotten out.
I agree. Just to note, the Bane is on a mega kill. Rock on Bane, you're at 5 kills, 0 deaths, 1 assist. You're doing quite well for a Bane. And we do have BKB finally up on Gyrocopter. Good pickup. That's going to help him in his team fight. It's going to give him even more team fight potential. But this Lifestealer is just getting bigger. He's got almost 2,600 health, or 2,600 gold.
And it will be interesting to see what he picks up next. Maybe go into a Desolator, or maybe a BKB of his own, just to stop the Nightmare and be able to, or the Enfeeble, to be able to participate in the team fights.
I agree. One thing to note is we've still got 2 minutes before the Radiant Courier is back up and running, so everyone is sort of at a standstill with their items here, which is definitely a huge advantage. And we do have a smoke coming out. A second ago, we did have Lena pulling out a boot swap. She's using both the items for the Mana Boots and the Tranquil Boots, which is definitely an ingenious use of items there. Not only can she fill up her mana and her teammates' mana, but she can keep her health full just by having a couple extra items. And it just shows the unique thought behind the Executors here. They're just being very aware of not only their team, but their items as well.
Yeah, and it's highly effective on a support like Alina, where you don't expect it to pick up many items. It does mean that, like you say, she can keep health and mana tip-top. It looks like the Dire and the Radiant are going to try and run, well, they're going to run into each other on the top here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And there's going to be some damage coming out to the tower. Nature's Prophet's doing what he does best, and that's pushing on the tower.
The Dire's top tower is doing its best, but Dire's top tower has fallen in battle.
And the tier 1's going to drop on top, and they're going to just, have Gyrocopter teleport away, and Nature's Prophet's just going to continue to push line forward, most likely to teleport out of there in just a minute.
And this is dangerous, like you can see, this is the Nyx on the top. You don't know where he is, so hanging around longer than you need to, it is fairly suicidal.
And here he's going to come out. The Telekinesis is going to come out. The Steel's going to come out, and we're going to see the Mechanism out on him. He's going to die here to the Sonic Wave, though, from Queen of Pain. Beautiful play there by Lost Style, and Rubik was able to get out of there with that Nature's Call, and Lifestealer picks up that Desolator.
And popping the ulti, I mean, like I say, if you get a kill with an ulti, always worth it. But the 135-second cooldown on the Sonic Wave, if they go into another team fight, she's not going to have as much burst damage as she could. The team fight potential, it's going to be clipped. All she's going to have is that Scream of Pain and maybe the Shadow Strike to try and get someone who's escaping.
Well, and Nature's Prophet was going down there either way. But at the same time, I mean, she's about to pick up her Orchid. She's got 87 seconds left on that. If they can just hold off the team fight for, another minute, they're going to be okay. And it's really going to, I mean, killing a Nature's Prophet is always a good thing. You don't want him split pushing, and you want to keep him from getting any items before he can, get an Orchid of his own out.
Yeah, I think he's going more support. And you can see now this Dire Ward in the Ancients. It's just going to stop the stack. It's going to stop the Gyrocopter from being able to farm up.
I agree, and that's a great thing to do. You don't want that Gyrocopter getting big, and the bigger your Lifestealer gets, the better of a chance you're going to do. They're trying to catch it out here with the sentry ward, but they're just out of range because they were smart enough to drop it in the back of the ancient camp.
Yeah, and you can see both sentry wards being up trying to find this observer ward, and that's a big waste of 200 gold, especially for support, like I say, that don't pick up many items.
I agree. I mean, Lena's still setting on her boot swapping items, so I mean, we're gonna see that here. We did see Lone Druid pick up the Skull Basher, so that's gonna give him some extra stun on the bear.
And that is mental. Just from a root or a stun, the chance of you being able to get out when you get engaged on a Lone Druid, it's just falling and falling and falling.
I agree. And, I mean, the further that Lone Druid gets, the later this game goes, he's just going to become a bigger, tankier hero. And, I mean, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
And it looks like the Dire are pinging out for Roshan. Especially with the Treants coming out on the Rubik, they'll be able to use that to tank. And there's not going to be a lot of threat from the Rubik to any of the Dire heroes.
Yeah, and they're going to smoke into that. Just jumping right in there to the Roche pit. I mean, if we look at our items, we see a good progression of items overall. The big item pickup that is going to make the big difference right now is that Desolator out on the Lifestealer. Dealing that extra damage and melting away that armor is definitely going to be huge in a team fight. And, I mean, if you watched the Roshan fall there, he fell in just a matter of seconds. Lifestealer is going to be the one to pick up the Aegis.
Yeah, and the Radiant Executors are going to have to focus down this lifesteal with all the stuns, which means they're not going to be able to lock down anyone else on character's team. The Queen of Pain and the Nyx Assassin, and even the Lone Druid. They're going to have to focus down this lifesteal. I hope they kill him off, and then take a couple more kills before the Aegis pops him back up.
I agree. And if you look at the CS, Lifestealer's at 192. Gyrocopter's still behind at 160. Queen of Pain is, you know, just a little bit further behind at 118. So, I mean, we've got some good farmings that have come out on that Lifestealer.
Yeah, and if you look at the net worth, you can see he's almost 2,000 gold. Well, he is 2,000 gold ahead, and this is without a Hand of Midas.
Yeah, and if you look at the item progression between Lifestealer and Gyrocopter, Gyrocopter has drums and BKB and phase boots. He doesn't have any damage dealing items yet. He does have almost 3,200 gold, which is going to be definitely put towards an item here. But I mean, he is just behind on the item race right now.
He is. At this point, you'd expect him to have a Helm of the Dominator, maybe even working towards, not finished, but working towards that butterfly. Especially with the amount of space and farm he's been given.
Yeah, and if you look at the difference here, we've got over 3,000 experience difference going to the Dire. OC is an advantage there. And gold difference, we're going almost to 3,000 gold advantage for the Dire as well. It just shows how, and it's all in that Lifestealer.
And it's not like, they're both fairly even on towers, so it's not the towers kills. The Roshan was a big thing to swing it into the Dire's favour, where maybe they were slightly behind, because they are slightly behind on kills, but just the farming, that Roshan kill, and the team play, it's just keeping the head above the water.
I agree, and we are going to see a Force Staff up on Windrunner, which is going to give that extra movement, as if she wasn't quick enough.
Well, that's quite good as well. If one of your teammates gets tangled, gets rooted, or he gets stunned, then she can just use it to force staff them away, or maybe force staff the bear away from them.
I agree, and that'll help keep her team alive. We do see the open wounds coming out on Bane's. Fiend's Grip's going to come out. Bane's in a very bad position, and he is going to get mech'd up, but he's going to drop here. Beautiful Sprouts coming out. This beautiful Shackle Shot, as well as the Laguna Blade. The Aegis is going to drop on Lifestealer here, and we're going to see the Light Striker Ray coming out just a second early. Rage is going to be out, and the Sonic Wave is going to drop. The Lena, as well as the Nature's Prophet's going to drop here.
Yeah, and you could see the gyrocopter went down. He popped his BKB, he used his cooldown, but there were 4 heroes sitting around here, and they just took him down. There was no way for him to escape because, like I say, the rest of the Radiant were too busy trying to take on this lifestealer.
Well, and the big thing is the Rubik got the spell steal of the Fiend's Grip. That's not a spell that you want to be giving a Rubik, not at any time. But I mean, in a big team fight like that, he used it. So I mean, he was able to help take someone down there, and we did see the team wipe come out.
Yeah, and that's big because on character was at 6 before they took out the entire team, and now they're near enough even on kills with Executors.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And we are going to see Nature's Prophet was pushing mid. He is going to teleport out, though. They weren't quite able to get the stun on him and be able to keep him there.
Do you want to see something slightly depressing? Open the gold graph.
Oh, it jumped huge in that last team fight. It jumped over 7,500 gold advantage for the Dire team. And we're almost to 10,000 gold advantage for the Dire.
And if you take a look as well, Lost Style on the top, he picked up that invisibility rune. He's not really done anything with it, but it just means he's been able to refill his bottle.
Well, and we are going to have a smoke coming out from the Radiant. Executors does know that they need to be able to come in. They're going to try to take out this Queen of Pain here. The Enfeeble's going to come out. Their Fiend's Grip and the Power Shot takes down Queen of Pain very quickly. But the Monkey King bar has been purchased from Lifestealer already. That's going to put Windrunner in a bad spot.
Yeah, and like I say, she's going to be able to. She's going to need this 4-staff just to get away from any. Well, just to get the Lifestealer, basically, to stay behind the. Well, Executors don't even have any tanky heroes to stay behind. So it's going to be interesting to see how the team fights go down.
And we do have the Fiend's Grip up, and Gyrocopter is going to be Fiend's Grip by the Rubik. They're trying to get him. There's the beautiful Impale coming out. He's going to be Nightmared up, and we see that Nightmare is shared around. Down comes the call down. The Infest comes out from Lifestealer, though. The Laguna Blade is going to drop Rubik, but Lena's going to drop to Lifestealer, and we're going to see the Impale coming out on Nature's Prophet. There's that Enfeeble keeping Lifestealer, but he's still able to get the kill with the Nyx Assassin, and Gyrocopter is running for his life there. There's the Impale, and he's going to go down.
And if you watch that team fight, you could see Gyrocopter pop the BKB, and the rest of the Dire team just ignored him until his BKB was down, and then they went on him. And that Nature's Prophet bought back to come back into that team fight and ended up dying twice.
Ouch, that does not help. That's going to just put them even farther behind in that gold graph. And right during that team fight, we did see the Queen of Pain pick up her own BKB there. So she's going to have better survivability in the team fight. And that's just, you know, even more advantage going towards on character. Great plays coming out, but like you said, when you can ignore the Gyrocopter when he's got his BKB up, and you just focus on every other hero on the map, and then you just come back to him once his BKB charge is dropped, I mean, it just shows the awareness of this on-character team here today.
It does, and if you compare the two carries, Lifestealer, he's 7, well, he's just died now. 7 kills, 2 deaths, and 5 assists, whereas the Gyrocopter, 2 kills, 2 deaths, and 11 assists. And again, that's not where you want your kills to be.
No, I mean, again, when your Bane is ahead in kills on your Gyrocopter, that's not where you want your carry to be.
And it does look like the Lifestealer is saving for his buyback. He doesn't need to pop it now because he's up in 39 seconds, and Executors aren't really pushing, so there's no danger that he needs to be, no team fight that he needs to be there for immediately.
And I guess the Lifestealer died to a creep there. He toggled off his armlet, and he was about to toggle it back on, and the creep was actually able to get the kill.
Great plays. Creeps for MVP then.
I'll second that.
And you can just see this the laner on the bottom lane here dewarding, so you can tell the Executors are scared of any of the Dire, any of on character coming in and rotating through that jungle behind them and coming in for another team fight and another gank.
One thing to note is there's no purchase of a gem. They're more willing to just purchase Sentry Ward after Sentry Ward. Now that the gem can't be destroyed, that's definitely changing the way you're going to see teams playing in any lineup for sure. But definitely in a matchup here today.
Yeah, and I'd just like to point out this ward here on the Radiant's lane, just before the team fight comes out, because that's a big one. If the courier comes past that, then they're going to know, and they might even be able to snipe it off.
And we did have Rubik here doing some basic dewarding. He knows that it's there, but he wasn't able to kill it in the last engagement.
And the Lone Druid, if you take a look at the burr, he's got the Demon Edge, he's got one javelin, he's one javelin off having his own MKB, and the Nyx Assassin adds of lads.
I mean, that just shows you that that gold advantage is being used very effectively. I mean, Nature's Prophet still hasn't built towards his Orchid yet. He's just a little bit behind, and it shows. I mean, Gyrocopter's in the process of trying to build towards his Butterfly, but I mean, at this point, you've got one hero with an MKB up, and a second one about to get it up. I mean, Butterfly's a little late in the game now.
Yeah, all I can assume is he's trying to go for that burst damage, and the Dire just going to wait for Roshan to come straight back up.
Very smart. I mean, they know that they're doing... I mean, they're even in kills right now, but still, in XP, they've got over a 15,000 advantage in XP, and almost to a 15,000 advantage in gold. And Roche is back up, but with that Desolator up, I mean, Roche is at -3 armor. He's dropping so fast. There's really no chance to even come in here.
And you could see with the Radiant, they were smoked up, but when the Dire were taking Roshan, they were scared until they knew Roshan had, well, then they started to rotate up the top once they saw the Queen of Pain. So even though they're smoking up, they're still scared of taking those team fights, or they don't want to take the team fights, they just want to be taking off the single pickups.
Well, and they were able to get the pickup there of the Queen of Pain on top, as well as take the Tier 2 tower, but I mean, they had to use the Fiend's Grip there from Bane, and the Orchid is finally finished on the Nature's Prophet.
And the Lena's finished the Ghost Scepter. She's got that in her stash now. One thing that worries me is it's a good item. It stops the Lifestealer and the Burr from being able to take it down. But if she gets focused by that Queen of Pain, all the magic damage coming out from the Stream of Pain, all the damage coming out from Shadow Strike, she's just going to burst because she's not the most tanky hero in the game.
Definitely not. And we are going to see the Bane being dropped there. And
this Lifestealer Infest into the Radiant Creep, so the Radiant heroes couldn't take him down. That's a big play.
Yeah, he was about to go down there, and we saw him survive due to that Infest. Just great use of the creep wave there.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And we're going to see pressure coming out onto this Tier 2 tower mid. I mean, you are right when it comes to the Ghost Scepter. It's a good use there, but when you have someone like Queen of Pain on the enemy team, Queen of Pain doesn't have to focus on you in order to hit you with her ultimate or with her Scream of Pain.
And that is a scary thought, that there's three... On character took a greedy lineup. They took the Lifesteal, the Lone Druid and the Queen of Pain that all need farm, but it seems to have paid off.
Well, and they're getting the farm, even if it means that they're, just doing it in different lanes in different areas. They were very smart in the way that they played their early game, abandoning the lane to the tri-lane very quickly with that Lone Druid, throwing him into the jungle, but they did not waste time to jump into that Ancient stack. It's not like they sat and farmed the small camp there. He was farming that Ancient stack very early on.
And you'd see there as well that smoke that came out from Executors. The Lifesteal was on his own, but because they couldn't see the rest of on character, they were scared to go in, or they didn't want to go in. They didn't want to be, baited into a team fight that they know they couldn't take.
Yeah, and we do have the Butterfly coming out on the Gyrocopter, but as soon as that was done, we see the MKB out on the bear already.
And that's just going to completely negate the evasion of the butterfly. The damage is still good on the gyrocopter, especially with the flak cannon coming out, but it does mean that if a hero gets up in his face, let's say, that he's not the tankiest hero, and he's going to have a hard time actually surviving.
Well, I agree, and it just shows that he's literally an item behind, because the MKB's been up for a while on the Lifestealer. Lifestealer's got 5,700 gold. He's just keeping that gold for the buyback before he picks up another item.
And with this Desolator and the Monkey King Bear, and the armlet, when it's on, the Lifestealer's putting out nearly over 300 damage. So the BKB on the gyrocopter, it's not going to do a lot when he's being right-clicked down.
And Lifestealer is going to infest into the bear, but yeah, you're right. When it comes down to it, I mean, even the Enfeeble out on Lifestealer now is just a little bit not enough. He's dealing so much damage.
I wonder if the Lone Druid's given control of the bear over to the Lifestealer while he's infested inside him. That'd be something that, so the Lone Druid wouldn't have to worry about it coming out, being able to place it perfectly for the Lifestealer to get the infest off.
I wonder. And we're going to see the call down coming out. It's going to catch up Lone Druid. The Entangle's going to come out on the gyrocopter. The bear is going to be melted down quickly. We are going to see Bane drop to the Queen of Pain. I mean, gyrocopter's barely making it away here. And we're going to see Lifestealer just push on the tower.
And that is deadly. And they're not going to be able... They needed to be able to take the team fights earlier, Executors. Maybe look for those 1-2 player ganks earlier on. But because they left it so late, they left this Lifestealer to farm up on the lane, where as the Dire rotated the heroes down to the bottom to push the gyrocopter off the lane, they've just let him get ahead. If you look at the last hits, he's nearly, well he is, he's 51 last hits above the gyrocopter.
One thing to note there was the Nightmare was used on the Rubik, which happened right before the Laguna Blade came out, which negated that Laguna Blade out on the Rubik, and Rubik ended up walking away from that fight even though the Laguna Blade was used.
And that's big. When little things like that don't go well for the team fights, then it's a game changer. And Executors, they're already behind, they're already on the back foot, so they need this team cohesion to really click for them.
I agree. And I mean, if we look, we've got a ward up here from the Dire team. The one thing to note is this Nature's Prophet has definitely started putting in his split push that he's so well known for. We are going to see that it's going to come out here. The tier 2 tower in mid is below half health, so he's been doing a good job there. He's trying to keep up on the tower race, but it's hard when you've got just the Nature's Prophet doing that split push during these fights.
Yeah, especially seeing as the Dire, they don't like to be, separated. They like to be within a certain area of each other, so if one hero gets attacked, they're all just going to converge on that area and take down the Nature's Prophet if he does go for that solo gank.
And now we have out the heart on Lifestealer. Lifestealer is going to literally just be a walking, living beast. With that heart, he has great regeneration on top of the fact that it adds even more damage and survivability up the wazoo.
Did you see that then when he put the armlet on? It went over 400 damage.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Not to mention he'll regen from that armlet very quickly, if not at all. I mean, he might not even take much damage from turning it on.
Well, yeah, you go in with the armlet on, you take down a hero, you come back out, you wait for 4 seconds, and your health's already halfway back up just because of that heart.
Definitely a good pickup. We do see Gyrocopter being picked off up top from Queen of Pain. Ends up getting the kill on the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, and that's big. He's down for 65 seconds. That's the main carry. If the on character want to push in, they could take a tower. They could even take a Rax if they were quick about it.
Yeah, just, I mean, he was up top trying to get a gank himself, but he just found himself caught out too far. It's a dangerous position to be in.
And if you see at the bottom, the lifesteal is going to go down. The Fiend's Grip was used, the Laguna Blades was used, the Orchid was used, the Wrath of Nature was used, the Power Shot was used. All those spells just for one hero.
And he's infested up in the tree.
Yeah. He didn't even die, so that's big.
Well, and he's almost going to take down the Nature's Prophet there. He got a ton of health. The Nightmare is going to come out. We're going to see the Shackle Shot coming out as well as the Light Strike Array sprouts. He's going to be caught up for a couple seconds. He is silenced here, but he's moving out of there. And even with the Enfeeble on, he is not even afraid. He's coming back for the Lina. The Open Wounds are going to come out, and Lina's going to drop here. The Light Strike Array is going to come out, but the amount of survivability he has with that heart is ridiculous.
Yeah, and you can see the team fight on the top. One of the Raxes go down, the Millie Rax has gone down, like you say. It took 4 heroes to concentrate on that lifestealer. The rest of one character were just able to slip in, take a Rax, take a tower, and put Executors on a really bad disadvantage.
Yeah, and the only person to drop in these engagements was the Rubik. Rubik's going to be down for a while, but, I mean, when you have a lifestealer that you can't even kill when you put all of your ults into him, it's going to just make it... There's a lot of pressure on Executors right now, and they feel it. That lifestealer is literally a late-game beast right now.
He is. If you take a look at the difference in gold, the Dire are 20,000 ahead, and they're over 25,000 ahead on experience.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. And if you look, the amusing part is they're only 2 kills off from each other. It's 19 to 21. If you were to look at the kills at this point, you wouldn't think there's such a difference. And we're going to see Roche dropping again. Lifestealer's not even going to need the Aegis. He gives it to the Queen of Pain. And we're going to see Call Down come out. Fiend's Grip as well out on a raged up Lifestealer. The Sonic Wave is going to come out, dropping Bane. BKB out. Beautiful Shackle Shot stopping the Lifestealer. We see the Laguna Blade come out on the Nyx Assassin, but the Open Wounds is going to come out, and we're going to see the Gyrocopter fall there. He was shackled up to a tree, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that's massive. Like you say, it takes 4 heroes committed to one on the lifestealer to try and take him down. And if they can't do that 4-on-1, how are they going to cope on a 5-on-5 teamfight situation? The only chance they have now, in my mind, is to defend the high ground and let this Nature's Prophet just split push.
Well, and one big thing to note is the Lifestealer's got cheese. As if he wasn't huge enough, he's got the cheese. And we see Call Down coming out on the Lone Druid and his bear, but I mean, the amount of damage that's coming out, Gyrocopter is going to drop here almost instantly. The Light Strike Array is going to come out, but Lifestealer doesn't care. He's just going to take the tower. He is Nightmared up. I mean, the Enfeeble's coming out on Queen of Pain at this point in time, and there's the GG.
Yeah, and on character, they got to that mid-game, and they just walked all over Executors, which is a surprise, because Executors did fairly well against Ben's party. They came in, and they really put the hurt on them. So to see Executors go down like this, just being forced back from 6 to 11 kills, or 6 to 12 kills, to 27 to 19, it really makes me wonder if they're going to try and change the lineup something drastic next match.
And I'm sure we're going to see some different bands coming out. Do want to note that we did have a shout out to Rubik's mom. To Lightbearer's mom, we had a shout out, so I wanted to give some minor recognition to that. And I mean, that was a very good matchup. If you break it down, though, I mean, Lifestealer just got so big. But I mean, they both played very, very well, and nothing saying against either team. But that Lifestealer just got so huge early on. I mean, good plays from all of the team, but Lifestealer definitely was a nightmare.
Oh yeah, definitely. And probably gonna give MVP to the Lifestealer, just because of the way he played. Maybe the Queen of Pain, because again, the entire team deserves it really because of the way they focused down other heroes when the Gyrocopter's BKB was up.
I agree. They had beautiful synergy between the whole team, and it's really hard to call an MVP in this matchup. Normally I can give it away easy, but this one, they played just very synergetic between the whole team of On Character. And that was Game 1 in a best-of-3 series. Definitely looking forward to Game 2 to see how this is going to go. Expect to see some different bans and picks here, and we'll be up in just a couple minutes.